shuffle up. Enough fun out of it. We can't have fun here. This is a modern stream today. We can have fun. There's no fun around here.
No fun can be had.
Yeah,
we haven't seen any Lantern. So there is
so
some
there's fun.
There is some fun being had today.
Fine. All right. Well, these guys are shuffling up. I'm going to jump back down to the feature match area. See, look, Max understands my joke. He understands my joke. I respect that. All right, Grixis Death Shadow. This deck was the Tier 0 monster and Death Shadow. You know how it usually goes. That was like the cry for a while. This deck has been nowhere.
I wouldn't say nowhere.
Nowhere, Brad.
But it's definitely not as high of a meta percentage as it was. That's for sure. I
feel like Grixis Death Shadow is very bad against humans, and I think that's why it's on the decline.
I tend to agree with you. Also, Bloodbraid Elf is kind of like it's a very good card for two reasons. One, it helps you 2-for-1 your opponent.
Yeah.
But also the haste is very relevant. So Death Shadow used to not have to worry about hasty threats out of a Jund player.
Yeah.
You'd have to play around Bolt maybe, but now you get all of this value off of Bloodbraid Elf, and the potential to 2-for-1 is quite high.
I am looking at this humans deck. So we've seen the double Resto Angel. This one is a split here, and I kind of like it. It is a Restoration Angel and a Dark Confidant. Dark Confidant seems like the bee's knees in some of these, in a matchup like this, where you're needing to catch up on cards because the Death Shadow deck likes to 1-for-1 you. I think that Dark Confidant should be excellent. So, and also here, let me take a look through. Let's see if this Grixis Death Shadow has anything interesting going on. Parateamer Battle Rage. I don't think you can leave home without those anymore. When I played this deck, that was like the card I screamed for more often than not. I just wanted to kill my opponent very quickly. The amount of times where I tend people with a Gurmag Angler was outrageous over a few rounds.
Yeah, and it's absolutely a must include, which has always been a little awkward in this version because you can get stuck with Snapcaster Mage in your hand along with Teamer Battle Rage.
Whoa, that hand is real good from Daniel on the mulligan to 6.
I see a Vial. I see a Thalia.
Is there Is it an Inquisition on turn 1 here? I think Jacob. So I think part of what's going to hurt Daniel here, A, being on the draw, and the Grixis deck has lots and lots of discard.
Yep, and if this Inquisition can name this Vial, it might not even name Vial. We'll probably get a good look at the hand here.
An actual man. Jacob he's down to 17. He has another Street Wraith in hand.
You think he's gonna shock here? I would assume.
Yeah, in the dark it's scary. Although when you were 3-0, the number 3-0s is kind of small at this point in the tournament. So maybe he knows that Daniel's on humans. Street Wraithing again against like Burn is just a death sentence.
Yeah, I like at the very least leading on Inquisition.
Yeah.
Typically when you're double Street Wraithing, you're trying to find discard. Okay, so we have Phantasmal Image, Champion of the Parish, Kite Self Rebooter, Mantis Rider, and what's that middle card?
Thalia.
Is it a Thalia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Almost certain. Take your turn 1 play and hope you brick the rest of the game.
Now Daniel's just praying for an Aether Vial.
Oh, he had a Resto Angel. That's the opposite of a Resto.
Yeah. All right, Daniel needs lands.
Yeah, Jacob is really land heavy.
Seer Visions here is pretty good, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every card that Jacob has is good.
I guess you just
my goodness.
Yeah, you just want a threat now. Oh, yeah.
Love it. Mills
Death
2
Shadow
lands casually.
Doing things that it needs to. Oh, wow.
He's taking that? You just like...
Surely you're playing the Gurmag Angler this turn.
I don't know.
You should, because...
Yeah, I think so.
Reflector Mage is the best card against you.
Yeah.
Daniel can't deploy it next turn.
And you can take it.
So you actually want to Thoughtseizure Inquisition next turn and try to take Reflector Mage if you can.
Yep, gotcha.
The only other card that you're really worried about is Mantis Rider, I feel like. Everything else is, for the most part, is a ground creature that you can beat.
And this deck is so good. When it does things like this, it is so good.
Yeah, when it does what it's supposed to, it's one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the format.
Just casually put 5 power in play. Strip to your best card. Oh, we hit a land.
So, is it Thalia or Freebooter?
I feel like it has to be the freebooter because you need to take like a removal spell. Thalia taxes him, but it's not unclear that Jacob, like he already has 2 lands in play, so like things like Lightning Bolt and Fatal Push are already on.
Right.
I think the freebooter has to come down here. It's tough, but yeah, Daniel agrees.
Yeah, and this Horizon Canopy that he drew too is going to be painful. So, Serum Visions, Inquisition, Tassiger?
Tassiger, goodness gracious.
Wow.
With a fetch land in play in hand also.
Yeah. 3 cards in yard, so if you count the fetch.
Yeah, he's got
so he can actually cast it next turn.
Yep. Takes the Serum Visions.
That'll be interesting because
he has ink.
Wow.
He can do everything.
He can literally play out his whole hand here. So the nice thing about these 1-mana discard spells is they're essentially free. It's the same as delving 1 is the same as paying 1 mana. So he gets to double discard here. I think I'm taking Mantis Rider.
Yeah, I think you're taking the Mantis Rider. That's the card that kills you. You can't really deal with.
And then
go down to 9 here.
Fetch.
You're gonna go down to 7.
Are you going to 7? Are you not thought seizing and you're just gonna? I feel like maybe you don't thought seize and you just play out your Tasker.
What is Phantasmal Image? So does Phantasmal Image let him race you? That's my question.
I guess Phantasmal Image lets him, because it copies anything on the battlefield, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
It could copy a Gurmag.
What do we got?
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice for me.
I agree.
Because it's the same. It's the same to. Well, it's not the same necessarily, but the Thoughtseize gives you the extra card in the bin, and you can take the Phantasmal Image.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a cost there going to 7. A Noble Hierarch in this Kitesail Freebooter might be able to close this game.
You still have 9 power on the board, though. And he has to block the next turn.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I probably would lean towards Thoughtseizing.
I mean,
this is super aggressive.
I think it's his only line to win, though.
I agree.
I
agree with you. All right, Image copy.
Yeah. And it's possible that Jacob forgot that Image can copy his own creature.
That is fair. Well, now this Thoughtseize looks really bad now.
Yeah, now I don't think you should be casting it. You should be activating Tassiger, I think, at the end of the turn.
How do you feel about just attacking with this Angler?
If I'm Daniel, I don't block.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Go to 9. Worst, I go to 4. If he has Temur Battle Rage.
Wow, blocks. Okay. Well, this is really disruptive now because this Tassiger can get back in an Angler.
Yeah.
Which is real scary.
Yeah, and if it mills 2 cards, he'll be 1 card shy in the graveyard.
Yep. He's a land short or anything like that. Yeah, Thalia doesn't really matter here, I don't think, at this point in the game. Jacob has a lot of... you could probably have that Street Wraith.
Yeah, I would give him the Street Wraith as well.
I don't know. This is going to be a close one.
Serum Vision is a great draw.
Yeah.
Because now he can Serum Visions into a card he wants, like a Bolt, and then he can Street Wraith into it.
There's the Bolt.
And a Snapcaster.
Wow, we are in business. He has a second land tapped because of the Thalia there, so... Wow, just
kept them
when
both.
you leave both, how terrible does that feel for your opponent?
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Didn't even need to cycle into a Bolt. Just found it naturally.
Yep.
With Serum Visions. Now, how do you feel about letting him untap?
Yeah, that's close. I don't think it really matters at this point.
Yeah.
Might want to try and get him when he Phantasmal Images or something like that.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah, this is going to be really devastating, though. So I'm going to take 1 again, down to 6. He's another freebooter. And a Vial, I suppose, is what we're doing.
Yeah, but he takes the damage for the Vial. I guess the damage doesn't change the clock at all.
Right.
I think you...
The Vial really doesn't matter anymore, though.
Probably don't deploy it. Yeah.
All right.
I don't think it's ever going to get to enough counters where it matters.
Yeah, we knew about the Snapcaster. So I think you're just attacking.
I don't think he should snap Bolt or anything.
No,
like
not at
that.
all. I'm just attacking here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because you can get this. You might be able to get this freebooter for free.
Right.
Freebooter for free.
But also, if he takes the damage to 6, and then he attacks with both Kitesail freebooters, your Snap Bolt is lethal.
Yeah, down to 5 already. Yeah, I don't even know if you can attack with either of these freebooters anymore at this point in the game.
Die to
Died a lots here.
a lot of stuff here. You're right.
He's thinking. It's a tough squeeze. Daniel's in a lot of trouble. Here's a noble. Okay.
All right.
Attack for a pair.
Three turn clock.
He has a Resto Angel. He's a land off of it.
Oh, okay. Ooh. I think I just like snapped
Snap
him.
Bolt. Yeah, I think I would have Snap Bolted there.
Yeah, me too.
Put him at 2 and just attack again, and then he has to sack his board for it.
Right. And the other thing is he topped with the Serum Visions. So
Yeah,
he knew about
he knew
the
the
second.
card.
He knew the
The
next
Thought
card.
Scour, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. I mean, you have to block with this because you need the mana for your the Resto Angel.
Right. Also,
He knows. Jacob knows the Resto Angel, right? From a previous Inquisition, I believe.
I believe
I think that was Daniel's
so.
first draw step of the game.
Yes, I believe so.
So now you have to Thoughtseize him. But then you have to Snap Bolt as well. You have to bolt the freebooter down
Well, yeah.
because you're just dead.
And he doesn't have any basics in his deck.
He's out of basics. Is he going to 1 here?
I mean, he might play a second swamp.
Let's see. 1 swamp, 1 island.
So they're already on the table. So he has to go to,
Oh, he's going to go to 3.
yeah.
Okay. 3 to 5. So now...
Weird. So why fetch? I wonder if he... Whoa. Whoa, Jacob.
Yeah, that's pretty
All right,
aggressive.
I think what happened here is Jacob fetched thinking he had a basic and
Could
then
be.
realized he didn't.
So you're going to attack for 2 here. Put you to 1.
Does he not have a Snapcaster Mage?
I'm pretty confident. That's a
Yeah,
Snapcaster in the front of his hand,
definitely
man.
does. Okay, so he knows about the Resto.
Yep.
He's just trying to beat
That
the
street rate
Resto.
doesn't do anything. The Teamer Battle Rage is a good one.
Whoa, that's pretty good. Wow.
Block.
Very fortunate.
Well, that's why you play Teamer Battle Rage in your deck.
Yeah, it's insanely fortunate for Jacob here to draw that card.
You are dead. What can he hit?
It was a meddling mage.
Nope. I was thinking he could
Does he have Dismember or Path in his deck?
have that one.
Not
No.
in the main.
Okay, well,
Wow.
Jacob Clearman gonna Teamer Battle Rage him out of the game.
I feel like he got lucky.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. That one was
I think Jacob made some clear mistakes and a few misplays, and fortunately for him, the top of his deck was kind.
yeah, that was an interesting sequence of turns there. I don't know how I would have played it, but activating Tassiger seems interesting when the Snap Bolt represented at least a 3, and then it kind of contorts Daniel's gameplay. Especially, I'm pretty positive that he knew about the Restoration Angel.
Yes.
So if he should have possibly could have Thoughtseized him there, taken that, he would have went to 1, but he still had Snap Bolt to kill.
Well, he couldn't Thoughtseize it, right? Because then he just flashes it in.
No, because he was tapped out at the time. He didn't. The Noble Hierarch had Summoning Sickness still.
Oh, you're talking about the turn before.
The turn before,
Sure,
yes.
Sure.
So
But that same turn, I think he could have just Snap Bolted
Yeah.
the Hierarch and then
either one, yeah, the Hierarch
And then,
kept
like,
him off.
presented a lethal attack,
Yeah.
which forced a block.
I agree.
So,
All right, well, let's check out. So the Humans deck is pretty stock sideboard here. It looks like.
yeah, I mean, Dino has a lot of good answers to this deck. Like, Reflector Mage is a very good card.
Yeah.
He's got a Dismember in the sideboard. Direfleet Daredevil's a great consideration here. He has a Hostage Taker, which I might bring in, and then a Xanthrid Necromancer, which I think is also fine. Just like, block with a creature, get another creature to block with. The only card he's probably really scared of is Temur Battle Rage, and then maybe some post-board, cards like Anger of the Gods.
Sure. How do you feel about Auriok Champion?
I would assume that's definitely coming in. It has Pro Black, Pro Red, so it can't
Dodges everything?
It can't die to like anything in the deck.
Just blocks 5/5s and 4/5s forever?
And then you just like gain a bunch of life over the course of the game. So I would assume that's coming in as well.
Okay. On Jacob's side, he has a pair of Young Pyromancers, a pair of Dismembers, a couple Collective Brutalities, Stubborn Anio, Hurkyl's Recall, Fulminator Mage, a pair of Surgicals, a pair of Angers, Grim Lavamancer, and Liliana the Last Hope. A lot of good ones.
He's got some good ones, yeah.
Yeah, Brutality's pretty okay. It's just a 1-for-1 removal spell most of the time. These pair of Angers and the Grim Lavamancer are certainly coming in. The 2 Dismembers, I don't know if that's where you want to be. I feel like it's okay. It's a lot of life to give up early if you don't have 3 lands.
Yeah, but like typically against these kinds of decks, you want to board out your Street Wraiths. So Dismember is, a cost you're okay paying.
It's like Stubborn Denials and Street Wraith are out probably.
Probably, yeah. And then Liliana the Last Hope I think should come in as well.
Yeah, that one's close for me.
It just kills like a lot of the naked creatures like Thalia's Lieutenants, Thalia.
Incidental
yeah.
cleanup, yeah.
The
nobles,
yeah.
He doesn't know, but Daniel does have. He doesn't necessarily know, but Daniel also has this Dark Confidant, which it also sweeps up.
Right.
It just also nerfs things, which is probably okay if you can't kill them. So.
Yeah, I mean, making a Mantis Rider a 1/2 is certainly good.
Wow, Jacob's hand is loaded. You see that?
It's a lot of bolts.
2 bolts, a Fatal Push, a Dismember, and...
So it must have been 7 spells.
Yeah. I like to call those Hearthstone hands. That's what I call them when there's no...
Yeah,
no
I call them too.
Yeah. Daniel's happy with his hand. Looks like he kept 7 cards there pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice, I think, to keep 7 as humans. Your deck it has a lot of synergy aspects to it, and the more humans you play, the better, right?
Yeah, I want to ask some of the more seasoned humans player if that deck mulligans a lot or if it just keeps a lot. I feel like it keeps a lot of hands. I don't know. I don't think it mulligans very often. We talked about in the car that the land base is really the allure to the deck for me, because you have 12 untapped painless lands essentially.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're all rainbow lands.
Yeah, I mean the mana is very good. I don't think it mulligans a ton, except for like matchups where you typically want to mulligan, like to try to find cards like Rest in Peace and things like that.
Specific when you're looking for actual specifics. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob going down to 17 here, fetching out a Watery Grave. Daniel didn't do anything on turn 1, just plays a Cavern.
All right, well, whenever I mulligan, Seer Visions is usually a card I love seeing.
Oh, yeah.
Does he have a spell to go with this snap? I don't think he does.
I don't think so.
So we're bottoming. That makes a lot of sense.
Noble, right on time. All right, here's Thalia.
Yeah.
Beat this one.
That's a tough one to beat.
A double Gurmag Angler in his hand?
I can't. It's hard to say.
I feel like that's a double Gurmag. There's one.
There's one for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be
one
rough.
One of them a Death Shadow? I feel like one of them's a Death Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think our plan is just to Thought Scour, and then so the card Daniel's really looking for, I think, is Reflector Mage, or he could just blind name.
Double Hierarch here, though. Double Hierarch is super enticing for me, unless you're terrified of. I mean, Anger of the Gods doesn't even get you this turn because you have Thalia in play.
I like one Hierarch, play second land, play Meddling Mage, I think.
Okay. Meddling Mage, what's that naming? Is it Anger of the Gods?
Usually.
All right, looks like Meddling Mage is the play here for Daniel. Let's see what he names. I feel like you have to name something like Anger of the Gods in this scenario. Like the one card that catches Jacob back up from this point, I suppose?
Yeah, I think 1-for-1 removal you're not too afraid of. The only, like you said, the only downside to naming Anger is he can't Anger next turn.
Right.
So if you're looking to try to get some tempo or value out of your Meddling Mage, it's a little...
I assume Jacob's just going to go for this Thought Scour at Daniel's end of turn.
I think it's his only play, and he needs to get this Grimag Angler down. Oh, there's an Anger.
So that's 1 of 2 down. I believe he has 2.
1 of 2, yes. And he drew a land.
Is he able
the
to?
turn.
I'm trying to see how many. 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. He's pretty close to double angler, which is hilarious.
What does he got?
I think he's too short.
6, 7,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too short.
Too short. Gonna go down to 10 here.
So he would need what? Double Thought Scour
Yeah.
to get it.
Yeah, he's short on mana because of the Thalia as well here. Right. So let's see what Jacob dials up. I assume it's just a shoe-in for one of these anglers at the table. I'm not sure his other cards. I think it's double angler though. Grimag Angler is really bad against Reflector Mage. In case you're wondering, in case anyone was wondering at home, it's very bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I'm in Daniel's seat, I'm just hoping to draw Reflector Mage every turn in this matchup.
Yeah, this is kind of what we talked about, like a card like, oh, baby.
Yeah, so he did have a Death Shadow.
A card like On-Crop Crasher would be really nuts right here.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, we talked about it, we kind of like half joking, but it's pretty good. There's the Dark Confidant, yeah.
Nice. And now you have this age-old question, like, even if I draw... even if he drew a Reflector Mage, like, which one is he bouncing? Because the more damage you do against 2 Jacob, obviously it grows the Death Shadows.
Yeah, it's tough. What's my game plan here at this point? You just like deploy your whole hand basically. You just wait on the Phantasmal image.
I mean, the image could copy the Gurmag, and then that can actually start going. That can actually start attacking through his opponent's Gurmag Angler.
And he uses his Dark Confidant, which we can't see on our screen currently. So we'll get them to slide these things down. We got it. All right. How's Jacob getting back in this game? Anger the Gods off the top? Wow, that's pretty good. He has a fetch land and a Tassiger now, too.
Yeah, a Snapcaster Mage can do it, right?
Snapcaster for
the Anger of the Gods. Like, if you can find one?
Yeah, he's a little short.
Oh, the Angers are exiled now.
Yeah, now they're exiled, yeah. This is a super duper aggressive attack.
Trading Gurmag Anglers?
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah. One costs 1 mana, one costs 2. That's pretty tough.
I think I'm fine with that. Like, I have the Bob.
Whoa.
Mantis Strider attacks for 5, by the way.
Yeah, Mantis Strider's a 2-turn clock.
Whoa. And he can do both?
He sure can.
Wow. That was insane.
So he gets to attack for 7 this turn? I think I'm just bouncing the Death Shadow.
I think if you just bounce the Death Shadow, play Mantis Strider, attack for 5, isn't that better?
It's the same, so... Because you can attack for 7 this turn with Dark Confidant, Meddling Mage, Thalia.
Right, but
pluses.
the Tassiger eats something.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Maybe not the Meddling Mage, but attacking for 5 is super safe, and I don't fault that play at all.
Yeah. I mean, now he has to answer the Mage. Oh.
There's a Dismember, but that doesn't
do much.
Really do much, yeah.
All right. What's the chance that Jacob tries to deploy Death Shadow? What are the odds?
36%.
36.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We're working on finding out what Meddling Mage
All right.
names
we
it.
did figure it out finally. I just got back back from the the Judge, and Fatal Push was what was named
Okay.
with Meddling Mage.
All right, down to 10. I believe he's down to 10. Daniel from the. I believe he's down to 10 from flip. He just flipped a Thalia to the Dark Confidant. Excuse me. So he should be down to 10 because we missed a 3 from. Took 3 from the Mantis Rider the previous turn, and now down to 10 from the Thalia. And there's a Champion of the Parish. All right. And then Jacob going down to 4. So what? Jacob's game plan is just anger the gods here, right? Or he doesn't have another anger in the bin anymore.
Right. He had to exile it earlier. I feel like, yeah, it's one of the few answers.
Well, Young Pyromancer is a card, although there's no spells in his hand that are instants or sorceries.
But he can read to play the Death Shadow, which is quite large.
Can he play all 3 of these here? There's a Death Shadow. Yeah, he can play this Gurmag Angler, I believe, if he fetches.
If he fetches.
But he doesn't have another basic.
Yeah.
It's very scary, so he can't.
4, 5, 6, no.
Cannot.
I think. Yeah, if he
could.
fetches. But is he dead if he does that?
He's not. So he'd have 4 blockers to 5 attackers.
Right, but any human makes the champion lethal. Because he'd have to shock and go to 2.
You're right.
Or go to 1, actually. So, yeah, it would be lethal if he played it.
Well, there's another Reflector Mage. Freebooter's going to see if the path is clear. Shows you a Gurmag Angler.
Also grows the champion. He knows there's no spells, so the Young Pyromancer isn't making a thing. So, yeah, this should just be lethal. I think we can see Daniel figuring that out now.
Mage. Yep. And he has 4 attackers. Yep. 4 attackers with 3 blockers, and here we go.
Game 2 goes to Daniel Anderson on humans.
Yeah, that was a good one. That one, Young Pyromancer was going to do serious work if that game continued.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, right? So, like,
assuming he hit spells.
He just played Freebooter, though.
Oh, that's fair. So it was a 3.
There was no other flyer.
That's true.
So, yeah, I think that match played out kind of the way we expected it to, or not the match, but that game played out how we expected it to, and also shows why humans is really good against Grixis.
Yeah, Reflector Mage is a beating, and when you're playing Delve cards especially.
Yep.
Number one, it takes you a lot of life to be able to put that many cards in your bin, and then on top of that, it just feels bad to have everything you've invested get put back in your hand, basically. And then they're expensive cards.
Yes.
The Tasigur and the Gurmag Angler, they're super expensive.
Yeah, and I think originally the Jason banning, everyone kind of put down Grixis because they're like, oh, I can't afford to get my stuff bounced. Jace is really good against them. Jace hasn't really been everywhere, but humans, I think, is what's probably keeping the deck down to some extent.
It's very fast. Grixis Death Shadow relies on a lot of 1-for-1 removal, and the problem is I think humans is the fastest 2-spell a turn deck in the format, besides like Affinity or something, like, the zeros, like Impact 2-spell turn.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because if they play like Champion on 1 or like a Vial on 1, on 2 you can play Champion into Thalia's Lieutenant, and then you're super far behind at that point with your 1-for-1 removal.
Yeah, I mean it can definitely get out very quick. And the champion draws with like the Thalia's Lieutenants are always just really insane.
All right, here we go. We're into game 3. I don't know who I have in this, honestly. I feel like Death Shadow is going to come through, but I don't know.
It's going to come down to play, honestly. So Gino has some key cards. The first one is Freebooter, Reflector Mage, and Thalia are all in his hand. So his hand's actually quite good. He gets to see this Anger of the Gods. Now he needs like a Meddling Mage to like help protect it.
I think he hit a Noble for the draw step. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
All right, Jacob going down to 17. I think he had a Thought Scour was his play. He also had a Lightning Bolt in hand.
Oh, wow.
How do you feel about setting back the mana here?
Setting back?
Like, so hitting the Noble and trying to slow him down. Is that the game plan? Or do you save it for higher impact cards?
I would save it at this point because I have an Anger of the Gods in my hand. And if he freebooters me, I'm going to want the Bolt.
That's fair. Man, losing that Grim Lavamancer hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure Daniel was happy to see that one go. Okay.
Whoa.
Now I like Inquisition here.
Yeah, Jacob's position got significantly better.
Jacob's hand's very good right now.
He has Anger, Bolt, Inquisition. And he can float this Dismember on top if he feels.
I don't think he needs it. Well, he actually can't if he fetches. So
Yep.
not fetching before the Serum Vision was a little bit of a mistake.
That's always a hard one for me. You know, I don't know.
Like a hard one because you make that mistake a lot, or a hard one because you think that you shouldn't fetch?
I don't know which is right sometimes. It's difficult.
I think it's always fetch.
Always fetch?
I think so, if
Yeah.
you're going to Visions. Unless there's like 5 cards on the bottom of your deck that you don't want.
Oh, that's really gross right there.
Yeah.
So he wanted this third land, it looks like.
So now he has to like, it's really awkward because he has to like fetch to Bolt the Thalia.
And then Inquisition?
And then he should Inquisition.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rough.
Which is why I think he should have just fired off the Inquisition last turn.
Okay. Yeah, I'll buy that for $1. Yeah,
And
let's see.
I mean, this tournament is, you know, it's not a GP. There is a lot of high-level players here. This Grixis Death Shadow, we don't know if Jacob's just started playing this deck.
Right.
I mean, this could be his first tournament with it. He could be a fantastic burn player,
Right.
blue-white player, and just getting into this new archetype. But he's 4-0,
Yeah.
so he's doing something right.
The results
He could be nervous on camera.
certainly speak for themselves. What's the line here? You go to basic to try and preserve?
Yeah, I think so. Humans has been pretty low on path.
Down to 10.
It's given the number of cards in Daniel's hand, I'm a little worried about my life total.
So I feel like we're priced into bolting the Thalia and then Inquisitioning at this point in the game.
That would be my line.
All right. Yep. I think we're priced into that just based on how we played previously.
All right.
Wow,
So
Dark Confidant's a good one.
Freebooter, Confidant, Reflector Mage.
Yep.
gonna
Certainly
take
the one
Freebooter.
for me.
All right. So 100%. If I'm Daniel, I think Jacob has an Anger in his hand. He didn't think long enough on his Inquisition. He should have postured a little bit more.
Okay.
This just screams to me, I want to protect my hand. And especially if Jacob plays out a Death Shadow.
Yeah. Well, there comes the Dark Confidant. So.
Ooh.
Well, this is certainly getting swept. Almost certainly. Unless he has something real big.
I would think so. It is a 2-for-1, and you're taking out a pretty key card.
Yeah, the Dark Confidant was going to kind of run away with the game, in my opinion. All right, down to at least 8.
I think he's fetching.
Do you have a Death Shadow?
He does, but he also knows Daniel has a Reflector Mage, so
Yeah.
it's not like the great. I mean, you have to play it.
And the problem, too, is, though, that's Daniel's whole turn if he does that.
That's true,
So I think I'm okay making that exchange.
but it means you're at a virtual 6.
Yeah, he's got Thought Scours. He's got things going on. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. Is that another freebooter? Sure was. Oh, now you're squeezed. Yeah, I think at this point though you're gonna have to reflect. You're gonna have to reflect this Death Shadow.
Yeah, I think it's right. I mean, it doesn't.
It's tough though. All right, here's what I got
It actually might be wrong.
to reflect it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not as big as it can be.
Gotcha. Whoa, boy, that's a fatal push. Yep, love it. Just
Yeah, always give him the chance to block. and
come in
get-
for 5.
Get your creature for free.
Thanks to Magic Players. Just a reminder, if you are no longer playing this tournament, we have 3 side events still available.
Yeah, I think Daniel's in really big trouble.
We have an unstable draft available. We have a Dominaria draft, and we have a modern Winnabox. With that
This is
said,
fine. I think just take it. It increases his clock by actually a turn as well.
Yeah.
a side event just for you. Come by, let us know.
Yeah, Daniel's going to need like a Mantis Rider or...
Nope. Yep.
And even that's not going to work because he's got Snap Bolt. Oh,
Yeah, snap fatal push or
we're getting
anything.
aggressive.
I like it. Just cleared the board out. All right.
But now Mantis Rider he's kind of shields down to a Mantis Rider,
That is
right?
true. That is very true.
There's a little bit of risk there.
Daniel down to 13. Teamer Battle
Teamer
Rage.
Battle Rage.
Cannot deploy this Death Shadow this turn, notably, or else
Yeah,
Daniel would be
very
in really
important.
big trouble. He's got 3 lands in hand?
Yeah, and
Oh, that's a paltry 1/1.
one of the downsides to the Humans deck is the ability to flood. You
Yeah.
don't have a ton of ways to card draw, which is why we saw Steve Locke earlier playing 4 Horizon Canopies.
All right. What was the last card in Daniel's hand? Is it a land?
I think it is.
Yeah, he just thought seized him and didn't hit anything. And Jacob has a Teamer Battle Rage in hand. This game's over unless Daniel needs a Reflector Mage, basically.
Yeah,
At this point?
the Teamer Battle Rage is representing 16 points of damage.
Wow. So we're staying at 13 then. That's a land.
Yep.
And this is a
If he goes for the TBR, it is lethal, which I think you're supposed to.
I think so as well.
Daniel's 1 card in hand.
And even if something goes awry here, you still get to play your Gurmag Angler.
Yeah.
All right, just did. Wow.
Wow.
Teamer Battle Rage, both games getting the job done. That was a tough draw for Daniel there. I don't know. I feel like that matchup goes like that though, where the Death Shadow deck can 1-for-1, maybe let you build up a little bit and then hit an Anger of the Gods or some sort of sweeper effect, catch up, and then their things are just giant. You have to reflect them every so often, and then they can just, if they are able to get it back on the table and you haven't killed them by then, you just you got up against it basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's some. To me, it seems like the Humans need some key cards. Mantis Rider being probably the most important of them. Some advantage cards too would probably be good, like Bob. I don't know if I would have deployed it that soon. I might have waited until resources started to dwindle a little bit more. It was kind of tough because I feel like he should have known about the Anger of the Gods, but if I just Reflector Mage him, is he going to anger me? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's tough to know. But, yeah, I mean, congrats to the Grixis player. Moves on to 5-0 and clearly doing something right, whether it was deck choice or drew the right card off the top of his deck. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Jacob Clearman's up to 5-0, so he should be able to shake hands next round.
I believe so,
more than likely. And
should be able to double draw, I would assume.
Get in there.
Or at least draw play
Draw
for
player
seeding.
for seeding, yeah.